Here are some spaceships created by AI, and we're just about to create a whole load more throughout this video. The tool we're using is an AI image generator called Midjourney. Now on the screen right here, just moving to the left, is Midjourney version 3. This is the tool as it existed in the middle of last year. On the right, however, is Midjourney version 5, and this version was released just last week. I think it's very clear the evolution that has gone on here. The results now are stunning, absolutely breathtaking in fact, and it can do anything from a whole multitude of art styles to almost 100% accurate photography. Version 5 of Midjourney has also managed to overcome one of the biggest challenges to AI-generated art, which of course is hands. Now, for a variety of reasons, hands are just far too complex for AI art generators, at least up until this point. And whilst version 5 does an absolutely fantastic job, it does mess them up from time to time. You can see the ring passing through the hand there. Other times it generates too many fingers or just otherwise hands that don't make any sense. But that said, hands generally are not a problem any longer. So in this video, I want to see just how effective version 5 of Midjourney is at generating spaceships. We'll then compare them to some previous attempts I made last year on the older version 3. Before we get to that though, I want to address the elephant in the room. There are massive ethical concerns about AI imaging generators, and these being trained on copyright images without the permission of the artist. Now this is something that I feel is a serious concern. It's also something I feel the tool creators are absolutely wrong for doing. Understandably, it's led to a number of court cases being set against some of these tool makers, and in my opinion, rightfully so. It's also important to understand, however, that AI art is not going away. Companies like OpenAI have apparently trained their tools in an ethical manner. They claim they use a combination of public domain images along with licensed images. So when it comes to DALL-E at least, there's no concern about it being trained without permission. But that naturally leads to other ethical concerns, doesn't it? About things such as no longer being able to tell what is and isn't human generated. Now, keeping all these very real and very important issues in mind, it's also important to acknowledge the exciting possibilities that AI art does offer. As AI art image generators continue to evolve, we need to keep an open mind and explore their potential uses and potential applications, whilst also addressing these ethical concerns that do arise. So there's kind of both things going on at once. It's a subject, either way, that does deserve our attention, and we need to keep an eye on it, both in terms of what it's capable of as well as its problems. So AI art is definitely something I feel is problematic, but it's also something I feel is very exciting and has huge future potential. Let's take a look then at some of these AI-generated spaceships. The ships we're looking at right here were inspired by Elite Dangerous. I simply put in a prompt to tell the Midjourney to create ships in the style of Elite Dangerous, and you can see it's pretty much achieved that. I think it's been far less successful, however, when I asked it to create spaceships in the style of Star Citizen. There are some almost Star Citizen-like elements going on here, but I feel it's not quite there. It did, however, manage to do a good job of the Star Wars-inspired ship, which you can see right here, 2 of them in fact, and then just general sci-fi based ships. This was a spaceship wreck crashed in a desert, a simple prompt, whilst these were the idea of a spaceship hovering over an ancient medieval village. Now, one thing Midjourney version 5 is very good at is creating art in non-standard aspect ratios. So we got 21:9 here, but we can also do 9:21 the other way round, which I feel generates some really interesting results. Okay, so here I want to do something a little different. I want to compare some of the new images I created with images I created for a previous video. So this is version 5 and the prompt was a spaceship hovering in a valley full of clouds. And here is the same prompt for version 3 of Midjourney. So you can see some massive improvements, really amazing progress, and let's put them side by side. I found it absolutely shocking to see the amount of improvement that has been made in less than a year. This really is just amazing to me. And the story was the same with many other prompts as well. Again, this is Midjourney version 3. The prompt was insect-sized spaceships. Here is the same prompt in version 5. It's in a completely different league, isn't it? And here's another version 5 image of that same prompt. We'll do one more of these. This is version 3. It was supposedly a space station refinery in the orbit of Mars. And here is the version 5 rendition of the same prompt. Let's compare these side by side. And again, you can see it's a whole world of difference. Now, you may be wondering, just how does Midjourney handle the photorealism when it comes to spaceships? Let's have a look at some here. So I think these ones are really good. The inspiration is pretty obvious, not quite 100% photorealistic, but certainly feel as though they've come out of an early era from photographs of a few decades back. So let's try something a little more modern. This is a SpaceX styled launch, and I've got to admit, these ones absolutely shocked me. The realism here is really at next level, and I'm sure if you look close enough you're going to see things that just won't make sense, but for a very, even up to a very close inspection, these hold up really, really well. So there we have it. That is Midjourney version 5 and how it handles spaceships. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.